What's up, everybody? This is Coach MJ, and I want to welcome you to today's mini course or training, which is entitled Pinpoint Your Purpose. In today's training, you will receive a blueprint that is going to help you to map out your path to finding and pursuing your purpose so that you can claim the life of abundance, impact, and freedom, which is your birthright. And I want to welcome you to this training. I'm excited to be bringing this to you. I've been thinking about it for a long time and planning it, so now it is time. The first thing I need you to do is to make sure that if you have not already downloaded the workbook that goes with this training, pause this training right now. Do not go a moment further and get that workbook. Here's what's true. This training is built on taking action. This is not a training that you can just listen to and pick up some tidbits here and there or get to it later. And even taking your own notes, while that will be partially beneficial, the workbook goes along with this training. I've given you some exercises and some specific prompts and things to do that will help you to apply the knowledge, because knowledge without application is completely worthless. So again, if you don't already have the workbook, go ahead and download it. It is value packed. And here's the thing. You might not finish this entire training in one sitting. This is not designed to be something that you just rush through to get it done. This is going to be involve a lot of thinking and reflection and making decisions. And sometimes that can be exhausting. So you're probably going to want to pause this and come back to it over the course of hours or even days, I would suggest. And even some couple of weeks, maybe even come back to this course over and over again. But get that workbook, because it's going to make sure that your value is 10 times what it will be if you just listen or even if you just take your own notes. I've got my notes right here. So if you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes so I make sure that I don't forget anything. The next thing is, at the end of this training, I'm going to be making you a special offer that some of you are going to want to take advantage of that will allow you to dig deeper into the concepts that we're going to be exposing today. Because here's what's true. Yes, if you do everything that I tell you to do in this mini course, you will get the results that you want over time, depending on how long you apply them and how consistently and how committed you are to getting your results. But everything can go deeper. Everything can be more detailed. You can always learn more and become even better and more attuned to what you're learning. And so if you want to learn how to go deeper in these topics, be sure to get to the end and take advantage of the offer that I'm going to be making at the end. So we're talking about purpose. Sometimes people refer to your purpose as your calling in life. Sometimes they say it's your assignment. It's what you were made for. It's what you came here to do. But why does purpose even matter? When you think about a person's funeral or in their obituary, when they put, or even on their tombstone, when they put somebody's dates of life and death or birth and death to describe their life, they put the month, day, and year of their birth, and then they put the month, day, and year of their death. And in between the two dates, they put the smallest character that's in the string of characters, and that's the hyphen or the dash in between the two dates. Well, that part represents the longest portion of time, because that's what takes place during the course of your life, the decades during which you are living. You're living in your dash right now. What? As you're watching this training, you are living in your dash right now. Are you making it count, or are you just doing what you feel like you have to do, or just getting by and just making it and barely getting there? That's not what you were put here to do. Your DNA came together, your parents put together the DNA, and you were created to be this unique, magnificent person. And you were not designed just to pay bills to promote other people's dreams, such as the business owners that you pay or your employer. You're not made to just pay bills and work for somebody else's dream, raise your kids if you have children, or do a little bit here or there and then die. That's not what you were put here to do. You were put here to make an impact. You were put here to make that dash count. And so you are at this workshop because you want to know, how can I find my purpose? Why does it matter? If you are just working a job right now, and I want you to raise your hand if it's true about you, or you can even comment in the chat or what have you. If you have found yourself, or you may currently be working a job that you don't care for, you're good at it, but you don't love it, but it pays the bills. Have you ever heard somebody say that, or is that your experience right now? And then can you think back in your life to a time where there was something else that you wanted to do? A lot of times you can look at your childhood, the thing that you wanted to do when you grew up. A lot of times that can be a clue to your purpose. It's the thing that you wanted to do in the past, but something about life, maybe circumstances, maybe voices that were teaching you, well-meaning parents, teachers, the media, your friends, people in school, made you feel like you could not pursue that? Or what is that issue that you get all riled up about? Or what is that thing that you can get lost in and lose track of time when you are pursuing it because you love it so much? These can all be cues to your purpose. And we're going to get back to talking about some of those here shortly. But it matters what you do. It matters if you pursue your purpose or not. Because when you are on purpose, time does seem to stand still. You do lose track of time. You don't feel like the work is work. You do feel like your life has meaning. At the end of your life, you will not regret the things that you did, or the overtime that you didn't work, or, I wish I hadn't taken so many vacations. You won't be regretting that kind of stuff. What you will be regretting is that dream that you had, or that feeling that you always wanted to pursue, but never pursued for whatever reason. I'm already getting hype. I can't put all my energy out yet. So let's pace ourselves. But purpose matters, because that's the thing where your natural gifts come together with your purpose to create that genius that you are meant to share with the world. And so we are going to help you today to start figuring out what your purpose is if you don't know. And here's what's true. Nobody else can fulfill your purpose. There are other people whose path may look very similar to yours. They may be in the exact same purpose space, for lack of a better word. But your purpose is unique to just you. So if you live and die and never pursue your purpose, the things you were meant to do will never get done. Somebody else might do a halfway job of getting it done, if it's going to get done at all. But you are meant to thrive in your purpose, and that thing needs to be done and can only be done by you. The great part is that you have zero competition. So don't worry about, well, if I do this, it's already being done, and what makes me special and all that. We're going to get into all that today in today's workshop. But you have no competition. Whatever it is that you are meant to do, you will do, and you will be the only one that does it, because you are the only you that you have. That is such an empowering and comforting thought, that you don't have to worry about what somebody else is doing, what Coach MJ is doing, what my best friend is doing, what I should have done, shoulda, coulda, woulda. None of that matters. Only thing that matters is that you find out what you're supposed to be doing and start doing it. So let's get into it. Oh, I want to throw this out there. All assignments, all purpose-driven assignments can support you financially. And I want to plant that seed, because a lot of times we think, well, we've got to work our job to pay our bills, and then I'm going to do a little bit of my purpose. No. Your purpose is meant to be the thing that you do. And you might not see in the beginning how you can make a living by pursuing your purpose. But here's what's true. Your gift will make room for you. Doors will be open. So I don't want you to worry about the how of pursuing your purpose. What am I going to do? Don't worry about that. You want to be in a space where you know you are following the path you're supposed to be, and everything else will fall into line. So we're going to be talking about 6 different areas that you need to consider. So again, if you don't have your workbook, get the workbook. The 6 areas are outlined there in the workbook. But these 6 areas are parts of your life, or parts of your existence, where you will need to do some reflection and decision making and action taking in order to identify and start pursuing your purpose. They're not necessarily in any particular order, although some of the things might make more sense to do before others. And you'll see what I mean as we go along. So the first area, and I love a good, I think it's called alliteration, when all of the words start with the same letter or the same sound. I love alliteration because it helps you to remember things. So all of these 6 areas all begin with the letter A. And the first one is going to be axis. So what is an axis? It's a central point or line about which something revolves. So the earth, it is rotating on its axis. That's the central point. This imaginary point down the middle of the earth. I like to think about the axis, a person's axis, as being that central or revolving foundation that makes you who you are. So your axis is about Who are you at your core? And so one of the areas that I want you to reflect on is your passions. What are those topics, those activities, those, areas of influence where you get the most hype? Like right now, I'm doing it. I'm I'm on purpose right now as I'm teaching you how to claim your purpose. But your passions, the things that you get excited about, you shouldn't be pushing those things to the side. Your passions are cues to what you should be doing on a regular basis in your life. Whether it's something that you do for fun, whether it's something that you do as a part of your job, whether it's something that you only do in your personal life or in your professional life. Your passions are those things that bring you joy and get you excited. You need to write down and consider what those passions are. Like for me, one thing I'm passionate about is training people. I didn't know that before I had my first job as a trainer. Well, actually, I did know it, but I didn't see it as training. There were some areas where I did train people, but I didn't see it as a trainer. Once I actually became a corporate trainer, I recognized I really love taking a complex topic or an unknown topic and making it very clear to the people who need to learn it. Look in your life. What are those things that you feel joy over and get excited over? Those can be cues or keys to your purpose. And these are fundamental to who you are because they aren't going to change. They can add to them and some things fade to the background as others push forward. But the bottom line is they are fundamental to who you are. They are part of the axis around which your life revolves. Next, I want you to explore your values. Your values, they clarify what is most important to you. What are those foundational principles through which you make decisions, through which you see the world? It can be family. It can be creativity. One of mine is confidence. Another one is authenticity. Those core values determine who you are foundationally, and they are a clue to what your purpose is. And I will throw this in there. Your purpose and your path are two different things. Your purpose is the theme that you want to pursue or your assignment, what you're supposed to pursue. Your path is how you get there. There can be many paths to fulfill a single purpose. And we might talk about that a little bit later on. But your purpose and the path to get to your purpose can be two different things. So we've talked about your passions and your values as a part of your central axis around which your life revolves. Another one is your life story. All the stuff you have been through, they make you who you are. Your background, everything you've experienced, whatever those significant events were, those patterns, those themes, things that have come up over and over in life. You can look back on your childhood and say, I loved that even back then. See, our childhood is a great kind of measuring stick for who you are, because as a child, when you're born, you don't know to live inauthentically. All you know is to be yourself. Over time, you learn to deny yourself what's true about you and to hide and tell yourself it's stupid or I shouldn't do that, I can't do that. But as a kid, you don't know anything about that stuff. So you live out you live out who you are authentically as a child. So when you look back at your childhood, what were some of those things that are a part of your life story that come up over and over again? I know as a child, one of the things I love to do, I play the piano, and when I was playing the piano, I would often pretend like I was directing a choir and teaching parts. If you look at some of my old music books that are still at my mother's house, you'll see people's names that I made up that were in the choir that were singing different parts. I grew up to be a choir director and a musician and a worship leader. That was a part of my childhood. And when I look back, that was a constant theme. What are those themes throughout your life? This is a part of your axis around which your life revolves. And then your preferences. What are the things that you like and dislike? There is nothing wrong with liking or disliking certain things. Whatever your preferences are, those can be cues to what your purpose is. Because when you are on purpose, it's not that you won't have challenges, but things are a lot smoother because you're not fighting against Oh, I hate this. Oh, this is stupid. This doesn't mean anything. Why am I doing this? You're not having those discussions. So even the tough times are less tough. They're easier because you are on purpose and doing the thing you love. Well, those likes and dislikes are a part of that. Your purpose is not going to involve things that you hate. Now, there can be facets of it that may not be your preference, and that's where you delegate, and that's where you bring on a team of people who can do those things that are necessary, but that you don't enjoy, so that you can focus all your attention and energy on your purpose and the main attraction. So your axis is your passions, your values, your life story, your preferences, and there are other things that make up that fundamental basis of who you are. But take time to go through the exercises in the workbook to make sure that you flesh these things out and really get clear on what these pieces are for you. The next area of emphasis is attitude. Remember, all of them begin with the letter A. So we're done with axis. Now we're talking about attitude. This has everything to do with what's going on up here. How do you think? Okay? First thing I want to talk about is your beliefs. I want you to examine your beliefs. What are your core beliefs and how do they affect or influence your decisions, your goals, etc., the actions that you take? What are the things that you believe to be true? What are the things that you're always saying, well, this is how it is? That all affects your attitude, your actual fundamental beliefs. You need to identify what those are, because not everybody believes. And I'm not talking about religious beliefs, although sometimes your religious experience can inform the beliefs that we're talking about here. What I'm referring to specifically are your beliefs about how the world works and how people are. And some of your beliefs may need to be adjusted, and that can be part of this process. As you flesh out the truth, I want you to be super honest as you're writing these things down, what those things are, because that's the only way you can get to maybe these beliefs aren't serving me, or any of these things that we're going to be talking about in this lesson. If they're not serving you, you can't fix them unless you identify them. And trying to ignore it and say, oh, I only think positive things when you really don't have positive beliefs about everything, it's just going to push them beneath the surface and make it more difficult for you to get to where you really want to go. So when you're identifying your core beliefs, be honest with yourself and just say, hey, this is what I believe. If you believe something even negative about another group of people or about your abilities or about a situation, write those down. You can flip those around and choose a different belief. That's the fact. You can always choose your beliefs, but you first have to identify what the ones are that are not working for you. So what are those core beliefs that you have that guide your decisions and your actions? And then next, I want you to start reframing failure. Oh, I forgot to write beliefs up here. I'm just going to write reframe. Well, I'll write reframe failure. So what do I mean by that? We all make mistakes. We all go through things that we don't enjoy, things that we're embarrassed by. We make mistakes. We do and say things we wish we hadn't. We trust people that we shouldn't have trusted. Whatever. We screw up. I want you to start reframing those failures and mistakes as lessons. You've now learned another way that won't work. That's all it is. You don't have to keep going over, man, I wish I had done this. There's some people in my life, people that I know personally, who every time something negative goes wrong in their life, they stay stuck there. I wish I had. It could be over something little, something benign that's not even that important. They missed a sale at the grocery store, or, I wish I hadn't said that to the person at work. You can't get stuck on the past, first of all, because you can't fix the past. All you can do is start from today, and you're doing a great job by being here in this mini course. Start today and reframe your failures as just saying, those were ways that don't work, and now I know better. Here's the truth. You are who you are because of everything that you've gone through, both the positive and the negative. That's a fact. You could not, if you had done everything right, first of all, if you had done everything right, you wouldn't be human. But if you'd done everything a different way, you wouldn't be where you are right now. You might be further along, you might not be. Reframe all of your failures to not be failures. Make it that you always succeed. Redefine what failure is so that you always win. I didn't screw up. I just learned a lesson. That's an empowering way of living your life. So that's the second part of attitude. So we said beliefs, and then learning how to reframe failure. And then here's my favorite. Developing an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset says there's more than enough. An abundance mindset says I can do, be, or have anything I want to. An abundance mindset says there is no lack. An abundance mindset says I don't have to compete with anybody, that I am more than enough. An abundance mindset always sees the opportunity. An abundance mindset knows that I can always achieve more. I can always get more. That's very powerful because a lot of people are contracting into scarcity in life. I don't want to spend money because what if I can't get more? By the way, I'm just going to throw this in here because I love to talk about this. Kind of related to what we're talking about. You hear the phrase time is money. That's a complete and utter lie. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. Never waste time trying to save a little bit of money. Instead, always invest money to buy back your time because you can always get more money. That's part of the abundance mindset. Money is the easy part. Time you only have a limited amount of, and you don't even know how much you have because you don't know how long you're going to live. An abundance mindset says there's more than enough room for everybody at the table. Start to cultivate an abundance mindset and see the opportunity in everything. An abundance mindset is positive and not negative. An abundance mindset is embracing more and not closing your hand trying to hang on to a little. So an abundance mindset. And then you probably hear a lot about this online, and it has become cliche because it's true, is you need to practice gratitude, being grateful. And I don't just mean gratitude by telling somebody thank you when they do something for you, although that's a big part of it. I've noticed recently, and maybe you've noticed it too, that a lot of times in stores, the cashiers no longer tell you thank you. And I don't think it's because everybody's rude. All of a sudden, although a lot of people are, I think it's because the stores aren't even teaching their employees to say that, or maybe they never did teach them. Maybe they never taught them that. Maybe it was just common courtesy, and now that's gone out the window. I say thank you when someone just serves me, and they usually say, have a nice day, or they say, you're welcome. It's like, you're supposed to thank me as well because I have patronized this business. And I've noticed it across the board that people just have lost common courtesy. But gratitude is about much more than just thanking people in the midst of a transactional interaction. It's also about living with an attitude that everything you have is a gift. And by everything you have, I mean the things in your life, your home, your job, your health, running water, clean air, safety, peace of mind, your health, whatever that is, living in a constant state of gratitude and on a daily basis, reminding yourself of all the things you have, because that allows you to not be ungrateful and thinking that you don't have. When you're I guess I'm trying to say is when you're focusing on what you don't have, that takes you down the wrong road. Then you start focusing on what's not right and what's going wrong in my life. And that's not a place of abundance. We just talked about abundance. That's not a place where you're going to attract what you want. But when you say, I already have everything I need and a lot of what I want, that sets you up to draw to yourself more of what you want and you need. An attitude of gratitude is a game changer because it keeps you in a positive mindset, which draws people to you, which draws opportunities to you. Always live with gratitude. And then finally, practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness, getting still and just getting in touch with your inner being. In this crazy world, there is always something pulling at your time, pulling at your attention. We go from one holiday to another, from one special event to another, from one weekend to another, from one crisis to another. Most people, if you ask them to sit down and do nothing, just think, they think that that's not a good thing. I don't have time to just sit and think. But creative thinking is the currency of success. If you don't ever take time to think about the problems you want to solve in the world, think about how you can pursue your purpose, think about what you want to do next, you're letting other people and other circumstances control you. You have to be mindful and get still and get in touch with who you are and where you are on the inside, back to that axis, right? In your central being. And you need to do it on a regular basis. And also being mindful says, I'm intentional about the words I say. Words are so powerful. I want to do a whole training just on being mindful of the words coming out of your mouth and the thoughts in your head. But being mindful says I'm intentional about everything I say, everything I do. There's no wasted motion. There's no wasted effort because I'm on purpose and I'm being mindful and I'm thinking about what's going to be the outcome of what I say right now, what I do next. Being mindful. So again, attitude is about your beliefs, reframing failure, abundance, gratitude, and mindfulness. Be sure to spend plenty of time in the workbook fleshing out all of these topics so that you can really get in tune, because this is going to set up the next piece of your purpose journey. The third A is aspirations. So your aspirations is, what do you want, right? What do you want out of life? What do you want? The first thing under aspiration is to visualize your ideal life. A part of identifying or pinpointing your purpose is knowing what kind of life you want to live. Not everybody wants to live the same type of life. Whether we're talking about your physical life, like where you want to live geographically, what type of house you want to live in, whether we're talking about the impact you want to have on the world, how you want to be able to move in the world. For example, a big part of my life is travel. My life and my future life is very travel centered. I want to travel a lot more than I do. I want to travel constantly because I want to learn from moving about in the world and seeing other cultures and experiencing other places. Other people don't love travel like that. You have to be clear on what your ideal life is. How do you want to live? And don't let other people's idea for your life determine how you want to live. Here's what's true. They can't decide what they want, or other people can't decide for you what you want, but they can decide for you, if you let them, what you actually do. We always want what we want. We can push it down. We can bury it. We can lie to ourselves about it. We can try to hide it, act like it doesn't matter, but it's still going to be there. So you have to decide what kind of life you want to live. I want to travel the world and speak on stages all around the world, on every continent, inspiring people to live lives of abundance, authenticity, confidence, impact, freedom, purpose, all of that. I have to know that in order for me to pursue the opportunities, even recognize the opportunities when they come up to live out that purpose. If I don't know that's what I want, I won't be attuned to those things when they come up and I won't be pursuing them. The next one, remember we talked about the birth date and the death date and the hyphen or dash in the middle and how that's the most important part? This dash in the middle is where you establish your legacy. This is another part of your aspiration. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be the imprint that you leave on the world? And I'm going to put beside that obituary. Not long ago, actually it's probably been a few years, I wrote this document called What My Family Should Know. And it's a document that's going to let my family know what they should do when I die. It's different from a will because this is about handling business, on the day-to-day business that's not discussed in a will, right? And a part of that, it gives you a place in there where you can write your obituary. And I actually did that a number of years ago. Now, since then, in updates of that document, I've removed the obituary because I figured they can say what they want to about me. My life is going to speak for me. But it was interesting trying to write my life story or write my obituary from an unknown future date, and I was doing it in the present. What do you want to be said about you that will be true after you're gone, or even while you're still here, but you're further along in life? And I said, that's actually true, because a lot of times people get up in funerals and they be kind of embellishing the truth and lying and saying this person was this or that, or glossing over some things that weren't as great in favor of others. And that's okay if that's what helps people to grieve. No shade about that. But the point is, what do you want to actually be true about you? That's your legacy. What do you want to leave behind? Even if you're still alive to see it, what do you want to be able to look back on in your life and be proud of? Once you identify what that is, that's when you can start pursuing making that happen. And don't worry about, it seems like it's selfish. It seems like, I don't know if they would like that. What would people think? It doesn't matter what people think. People aren't really thinking about you at all, honestly. They're just thinking about themselves in respect to you. Right? Most people aren't really, actually, I'd say nobody's really, truly worried about you. They're thinking about themselves. So just focus on you and what you want to be true about you. Even if it's something outlandish, even if, again, remember I said at the beginning, don't worry about how you're going to do it. Don't worry about how you're going to make it happen. Just decide what you want and why you want it. Why do you want that to be your legacy? Why do you want your obituary to read that way? Once you've identified that, you're going to be on your way to making it happen. Another part of the aspirational part of pursuing your purpose is creating a vision board or book. I just recently got introduced to the concept of a vision book. As a matter of fact, mine is right here. This is my current vision book. It says vision book. It says Hello Pumpkin. That's what it says. But inside of my vision book, there are pictures and descriptions and narratives of things I want to accomplish. And it's in great detail. Some people prefer the trifold board or the poster board that they hang up on a wall. That never worked for me because it just didn't work for me. There wasn't enough of flexibility with the vision board process that I have gone through. I prefer either a digital vision board that can stay on the desktop of my laptop, or I prefer my vision book because I can take that with me wherever I go. I add pictures to it. I add information. My dream house is in there. Places that I want to do business are in there. Types of businesses I'm starting are in there. People I want to work with are in there. Things I want to be able to do for other people in my family, my friends, my community. It's in that book in detail, and I speak about the things in the present tense, not in the future tense. I speak about them as if they're happening right now, so that I can get caught up in the emotion and the feeling of having those things come to pass. But you need to have a vision board or a vision book that is meaningful. So you might want to get away from just cutting stuff out of the magazine, because a lot of times that's restricted to what's in the magazines that you have access to. You need the actual words, phrases, and pictures that you want in there. So one of my quick tips is, if you have a color printer, or even if you don't, you can get one for less than $100. Get you a color printer and print off the internet the actual pictures you want to represent your goals and your dreams in your vision book. If you've got some things you want to pay off, maybe you got some pictures of money and checks that you've written and things of that nature, and paid in full, that kind of stuff, that kind of detail. And then you're going to want to review your vision book, your vision board, or whatever it is, on a regular basis, even every single day, so you can get excited about what it is that you're headed towards. These are your aspirations. These are the things that you're looking towards and being inspired by. And then another part of your aspirations, or the things you're looking forward to in the future, are your goals. You need to set meaningful goals that you can measure, that have dates around them, that inspire you. And then you need to revisit and revise those goals on a regular basis. Doesn't mean that you're going to give up and quit if they're not happening quick enough. If you got a goal that's far out, the worst I want you to do is tweak it a little bit. If you don't accomplish it, change the date, push it out a little bit further, and keep working towards it. You should only remove a goal if you truly and honestly no longer want to pursue it. And that should not be because it got difficult. That should not be because, it wasn't as fun as you thought it should be. If it's truly a goal that resonates with you, if it's truly something you want to accomplish, never give up on your goals until you get there. Even if you have to tweak the due date, even if you have to tweak some of the details, stay on top of that goal and keep your promises to yourself. So again, a part of pursuing your purpose is looking at your aspirations, that ideal life. I guess I didn't write that part. Your ideal life that you want to lead. the legacy or the obituary that you want to write. As a matter of fact, make sure you write your obituary. That's one of the exercises you need to do. Your vision board or your vision book. Look at it every day. Fill it up with all kinds of amazing things that challenge you, that make you feel like, could I do that? If it's too easy to believe, it's not a big enough goal. Your goals should be so big, some of them, that it takes your breath away. Some of them need to be super simple so you can have some quick wins, but some of them need to be so big that it inspires you to do great things. The next area, as you are pinpointing your purpose, are your advantages. This is, what do you have going for yourself, right? What's in your wallet, as the commercial says. Now, one of the areas underneath your advantages are your strengths. If you worked anywhere like I did in corporate America back in the mid 2000s, there was a book that went around called Now Discover Your Strengths. And then there was a Strengths Finder 2.0, and there was a video, and there was a whole big thing to learn how to identify what you are strong in, what your areas of strength are, so you can focus most of your attention on that instead of focusing your attention on what you're not good at. There's nothing wrong with improving and getting better. But if you've got 5 A's and 1 C on your report card, I'm sorry. But you need to be focusing on the A's and not the C. Nothing wrong with trying to get that grade up. But spend your time getting better and better and staying proficient in the areas that you are already good in. That's what I believe. Focus on your strengths. Maybe you are good at making people helping people to come together on a cause. Maybe you're good at talking. My first grade teacher said my mouth ran like a bell clapper. Meanwhile, I get paid to speak. I get paid to train and communicate to people. So that was one of my areas of natural talent that I brought forward throughout my life. As a matter of fact, the natural talents that you are born with, I consider those to be your gifts. You don't have to necessarily work hard to get those gifts. Now, you can work to improve those gifts, but you don't have to work hard to get them. Then you have learned talents, where these are skills that you maybe learned in school, learned on the job, or you had to go out and find a teacher or find somebody to show you how to do those things. Both a natural talent or gift or a learned talent, both are parts of your strengths. As a matter of fact, let me put that there. Your talents and your gifts. These are all advantages that you have going for yourself that can inform what your purpose is. Don't deny those things, and don't make the mistake of trying to figure out how all of this, I should have said this at the beginning. Don't make the mistake of trying to figure out how to put all this together from the beginning. Just get everything down in writing and get all these thoughts out of your head. Don't try to edit as you go and say, well, I love cooking and I also love painting. I don't see how those two things can go together. Plus, I don't think I can make any money. Don't do that. Just write down the stuff. The way they come together will come together as you start to go down the path of unearthing all of these truths about yourself. So your strengths, your talents, and your gifts, that's a part of your advantages, or your assets is another thing I call them. The next area of your advantages that you want to take a look at as you are pinpointing your purpose are your hobbies. Those are the things that you love to do for fun. Did you realize that the things you do for fun can be a part of your purpose? The reason you enjoy them is because sometimes they are a part of your assignment. Now, they may not all be a direct part. Be open to the possibility that they are. See, what's true is that sometimes we stop ourselves from doing what we are supposed to do because, again, usually we allow, I got to pay these bills. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make money doing it. I don't know how to. We let the how stop us. Do not let the how or questions about the how stop you from accepting that cooking might be your purpose or something involving cooking. Painting could be involved in your purpose in some kind of way. Maybe you're not supposed to paint as an artist as a part of your purpose, but maybe you're supposed to create a place where people can paint or learn how to paint. Whatever that is, be open to your hobbies being a part of your purpose, because that's something that you can do and time just melts away and you lose track of time. That's a place where you collect all of the little accoutrement of that activity. You get all the bells and whistles, you get all the equipment and all the things. There's a reason why you deep dive into that activity. It could be a part of your purpose, and be open to that. And then another part of your advantages is your actual work. So it could be your work, your career, what you actually do for a living. I don't want you to think that in pursuing your purpose, it can't be related to your career. I just don't want you to limit yourself to the work you're already doing. But what are the parts of your job that you do enjoy or that you do shine at? You need to pull those parts out. Maybe you don't love the data or the analytics or all the meetings and that part of your job, but maybe the actual, customer facing part or the research or whatever the parts of your job that you love and you wish they would just let you do that could be a part of your purpose. Be sure to write that down in your workbook as you're pursuing this. The next thing that's a part of your advantages, and it may not be something that you are doing right now, but I'm going to act like it is and encourage you to take it up if it's not, is I want you to be a learner, a lifelong learner. Unfortunately, most people stop learning after school. After they graduate from high school or college and nobody else is making them learn, they stop learning intentionally. Or if the job makes you learn something or they require continuing education, that might be all you do. Most people stop reading books after school. I don't ever want to read another book. That's such a sad testament, because books and now the internet as a whole is an amazing resource for continuing to keep your mind fresh and constantly be looking for new things to love. I never would have thought as a child that I could be on the internet teaching people. I never even thought I wanted to be a teacher or a trainer, but even then I didn't think I would be on the internet doing it. Even when I was a corporate trainer 20 years ago, I had no idea, because the internet was not a thing in the way that we know it now. But you have to be constantly open to learning. If I wasn't willing to learn how to use the internet or how to use a computer, how to use an iPhone, I wouldn't be where I am today. Constantly learning and looking for knowledge just for the sake of having it. And then you'll be able to find those nuggets that you do want to apply in your life. Be a lifelong learner. The last facet of your advantages is observing your ability to overcome challenges in the past. What have you overcome in your life? What have you gotten the victory over? What is something that you succeeded at that you thought you weren't going to succeed at? What are the things that you have overcome? Because these are the biggest challenges that you will face that could inform how you can help others to overcome those same challenges. These can be cues so let me write that down, challenges. These can be huge cues to what your purpose is, because a lot of times people like to learn from somebody who was where they are now and got to a different place, a place that they want to get to as well. So what are those things that you have overcome? They are a part of your advantages, your strengths, your talents and your gifts, your hobbies, the things you love to do for fun, the work that you already do, specifically the parts that you enjoy, and then those challenges that you have overcome. Be sure to take your time as you evaluate this section of your life, because I think you're going to find some surprises in your life that are going to cue you into your purpose that you are not expecting. And now we're ready for our fifth section of your life that you need to evaluate as you are on the path to pinpointing your purpose. And that is what I call adventure. These are things that you're actually going to do. Up till now, you've been doing a lot of thought work and evaluating things about your past, things about your present. Now you're going to actually do some things that are going to take you outside of your comfort zone. For example, the first area is going to be in your career. I want you to explore different career paths. What are some things that you may have told yourself you're too old to do, you're not smart enough to do, you don't know how to do it, it's too late for you, nobody in your family's ever done it? It could be a business venture, but explore what some of those career paths would look like. Actually let your fingers do the walking, like they used to say about the yellow pages, except you're going to do it on the internet or wherever you can get that information. Maybe you ask some people that you know. Just be open. This whole activity, this entire mini course is about being open to possibilities. Explore some different career or business paths by researching and experimenting with different professions. Whatever that looks like for you, be open to doing something different. Don't worry about the how. I don't know how to get there. Just look at what it is. You may find that there is something that you wish you could be doing. That you're like, once you find out about it, you're like, that would be perfect for me. That's how I discovered project management. As a young person, even in college, throughout my 20s and my 30s, I didn't even know project management was a career choice. I am phenomenal at project management. Had no idea that my skill sets were represented in a career out there that I could have pursued. But once I had the conversation with a leader at my job and found out about it, I pursued it, entered the field, and I love it. I love it to this day in project management. I did not know about it, but I had to be willing to explore the possibility by having that conversation. So what are some career and business paths? My marker's giving out. We may have to switch to blue. What are some career and business paths that you can pursue to see if they are a fit for you? Make sure you're still on the screen. Okay. So that's one of the things. This is an adventure that you're going on. Another one is trying new experiences. New experiences. Are you one of those type of people that doesn't like to try anything new when you're out with friends or when you're traveling or whatever? You kind of stay on the sidelines. It's time to get off the sidelines, ma'am. It's time to get off the sidelines, sir. You are in hot pursuit of pinpointing your purpose, and you need to find out what you don't know. The only way you will do that is by going to different places, new activities, travel, get outside your community, get outside your comfort zone, meet new people, look for new passions and new interests that you may not ever have pursued before. You have to be willing to do something different to get a life you've never had. So even though your assignment, your purpose is waiting for you, it may not be in the midst of anything you've ever tried before, which could explain why you're sitting here today trying to figure out what your purpose is. You've not maybe gotten close to it. Be willing to try some new things. You don't have to go out and say, I wonder if that could be my purpose. Let me try it. Just try some stuff. Try some classes. Go some different places. Meet some new people. Sign up for some stuff. Just get out there and do something different. This is part of the adventure. This is part of taking a risk. Another way that in pinpointing your purpose, you can take an adventure is by helping other people. Maybe you start to volunteer your time, your effort, your finances to help other people through causes that you care about. Stretch out and help other people. Sometimes you can find your purpose when you're helping other people. Maybe your purpose isn't aligned necessarily with helping those people, but in doing that, you may have a conversation. You may have an experience that alerts you to something else. Everything is connected to something else and something else and something else. You have to just get out there outside of your comfort zone and try something. Volunteer at the local soup kitchen. Volunteer at Habitat for Humanity. Go out with a group from your church and try something. Do something to help other people. That can be how you find your purpose, how you find the thing that you love. Again, you're not looking for necessarily how you're going to turn it into financial support for you and your family. Right now, you're on a journey to find out what the purpose is. The how will come. You need to figure out the what and the why of your purpose. And so helping others can often lead people. There's so many people who have found their purpose in life by trying something new, not realizing that that's what they wanted to, that's what they were made to do all along when they were just trying something thinking it would be a one-time thing. So that can be your experience as well. And again, we talked about lifelong learning, being a lifelong learner. And I'm not just talking about going to school or taking courses like this, although this is a very important part of that, but just being open to knowledge in all of its forms, in all of its sources, in all of the places it can be. It's conversations, it's books. It's just being open to learn more. Maybe when you go to an activity to watch something, maybe on a stage or whatever, maybe you speak to the people who are on stage and learn a little bit more about what they do. It's not always about knowing intentionally what you want out of the experience. It's about just pursuing it. It's about having a curious mindset. But don't just limit your learning to what you learned in school. Don't let college or high school be the last time you read a book or looked for knowledge that somebody else wasn't telling you to pursue. See, in high school and before that, your parents told you to go to school. A lot of times that's the experience for college as well. But maybe you chose college so you could get into your career, but then that's it. Nobody else is making you learn, and maybe you stop learning. Get out of that idea that you only have to learn if you know exactly what you need it for, or if it's going to serve a specific purpose. Just learn for the sake of learning. You never know what you can be exposed to. And then part of your adventure can be investing in your growth. And by investing, I specifically mean financially. Being willing to invest in yourself and spending your money on developing yourself. Those things that you treasure is where you put your money. And that's where your heart is. Where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. That's what the Bible verse says. Be willing to invest something in learning for yourself. This particular course, you may not have had to invest in this particular course, but what can you go out and purchase for yourself? Because that's going to communicate to you that you have value, that your learning is valuable, and that this quest that you are on is valuable. So while you can take advantage of free resources, be also willing and open to the things that you have to invest in yourself to get the outcome. So again, a part of adventure is exploring new career and business paths, doing the research for that, going out and having new experiences. Don't, step outside of your comfort zone. Get outside of the box that you're in and try something different. Look for ways to help others. You may not realize that you can discover your purpose in the midst of helping others in what you might have thought was going to be a one-time thing. And then being a lifelong learner for the rest of your life. Always be willing to learn more. Don't let your job and continuing education be the only reason why you learn. Don't let college be the only reason why you learn. Go out and learn just for the sake of learning. New skills, new knowledge, new insights. Always be learning, and then being willing to invest in what you're doing. This entire journey, a lot of it is thought work, but some of it is getting outside of yourself. Be willing to actually spend money to pursue your purpose, because it could actually drive you up the right road if you have actually invested and you're willing to put your money where your mouth is. We've made it all the way to the final A. And the last A is your associations. Who are you around? This is so important. If I had to rank any of these as most important, this would be high up on the list, because who you are around often is dictating why you haven't found or pursued your purpose up until now. It might be a naysayer. It might just be people that live a basic life, people that don't have aspirations beyond just trading hours for dollars the rest of their lives and paying bills, and that's it. You have to figure out what type of life you want to live. We talked about that in an earlier step, and then get around people who can help you to get there. And people who are pursuing their purpose are the best role models that you could ever find. So your first association can be role models. These can be people you don't know personally at all. A couple of my role models, and I haven't worked with them directly yet, but I will be in the near future. Dr. Myron Golden, that's one of my role models. He is an amazing biblical success teacher and guru. I love him. And then Dr. Sonia Stribling, she is another success guru out here. These are my role models. These are people who have built wealth and who have impact, who have created their own freedom, who live in abundance and have the type of life that I would like to live. So I have surrounded myself with role models of this nature. There are also people in my personal life who I look up to, but depending on where your background is or where you have found yourself, you may not have a lot of people around you that you can identify or have access to yet who are the type of people you want to emulate. So look online, get the people online and surround yourself by, taking in their content on a regular basis and following the things that they tell you. It matters whose voice you are listening to, because if you think about who your role models are right now and you're honest about it, are they just role models because of a past association you had with something y'all had in common, but it no longer is valuable to you on this purpose journey that you're on? If so, it's okay to back away or shift your focus away from them. Maybe you have a role model that was in the health and fitness space for you, but now you've achieved your health goals and you don't focus on that anymore, but you haven't replaced that role model with the new path you're on. Look for people who are living the life that you want to live in some respect or another, and focus in on what they're doing. Read their writings, listen to their words, watch their content, emulate their lives in ways that are authentic to you. In addition to role models, you also have to look at your community. And I kind of alluded to this a second ago, your community or your circle, or really your community and your circle. Your community is the larger group that you are a part of. This could be family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, the people you socialize with. There could be some organizations that you're part of, churches. All of these are a part of your community. Then your circle are the people that are closest to you, who you call when things are going well or when things aren't going well. Who do you talk to the most often? You have to be super careful which people are in your community, but sometimes you can't avoid some of those people, but your circle you can control. You need to decide, are the people who are feeding messages to me every single day of my life, whether it's family, friends, etc., saying the types of things that I need to hear in pursuit of the life that I want. Remember, back up under aspirations, we talked about visualizing your ideal life. Are these people giving you messages and giving you support or pushing you in a direction that's going to get you where you want to go? Do their values match your values? Do y'all have things in common? Maybe you used to and you're still loyal to them because of times y'all had in the past, but you don't owe people from your past your future. You don't have to make a big scene or cut them out of your life, but redirecting your focus elsewhere can be a super critical to creating the life that you want, a life that's on purpose, because not everybody who's with you now can go with you where you're going, and that has to be okay. You don't even have to give them an invitation. Just move towards that. You can't share your dreams with everybody. Everybody's not going to support your dream. Everybody doesn't understand it. It's your dream. It's your vision. It's not theirs. So don't expect them to come along. People who are like-minded, who have an abundance mindset, who are purpose-driven, who are positive, who are abundant and see the possibilities and not the limitations, those type of people you can safely share your dreams with. But the folks that can't see possibilities, who are always looking for the lack and the limitation, you will have to distance yourself from them if you're going to pursue a life of purpose. So again, your role models and your community and your circle. But then finally, a part of association is seeking feedback, okay? Seeking feedback from people in your community and in your circle that you trust. You trust them because they have an outcome or a result that you want. Not just you trust them like we've been friends forever, they got my back, I trust them with my life. Not that kind of trust. You trust their opinion because they have a foundation that's similar to the one you either have or are trying to move towards. And you trust them to tell you the truth without tainting it with what they see or what they think you're capable of and all that. Ask them about their perspectives on what your strengths are and what your purpose might be. Every so often I reach out to about 30 or 40 people who are in my phone and I ask them, what do you think I'm good at? What would you want to learn from me? What do you think my strengths are? What do you think I can improve in? I get that feedback from them. I get feedback from my children. I get feedback from close friends. I get feedback from acquaintances, but those that I know are on a path that I can trust their opinion. And I always get similar results from them, which is why I'm pursuing my purpose, part of which is one of my paths is creating this training for you. That's one of my paths to pursuing my purpose. But get feedback from other people, because other people see you differently from the way you see yourself. And that can give you a whole different perspective on who you are than what you can get from all this other thought work that we've done here together today. So if you've made it this far in the training, I want to salute you and applaud you, because you've made it to the end. And I hope that you have done a thorough job of moving through the exercises in the workbook. And again, if you didn't get the workbook, get the workbook. The link should be below this video or somewhere nearby or in your confirmation email for this training. But I hope you have taken the time to do the thought work. It's tough thinking. It's surprising when you're not used to doing a lot of deep thinking, how much energy it takes and how exhausting it is. But it's so rewarding to think back over your life and look for where were those areas that could be informing my purpose and helping you to pinpoint what you were made to do, what you were brought here to this earth to do. And I want to help you to move further along this journey. We went through a lot of material today. You have your workbook. You can keep working through these things. But I know that some of you are going to want to go deeper. Some of you are like, okay, Coach MJ, you got me started, but I've got some questions, or I want to go deeper on this topic. Maybe it was under aspirations and the ideal life that you want, and you want some help to dig deeper into that topic. Or maybe it was the topic on your axis. What are that central core of you? So that can be difficult to identify sometimes. What are those fundamentals that make me who I am? Or maybe it's the mindset piece, that attitude. How do I think? Not just what do I think, but in what ways or how do I use my mind to either help or hinder me? I've got good news for you if you want to go deeper. I have an upcoming challenge or live workshop called Pinpoint Your Purpose. And I am offering it to people who want to go deeper into the topic of pinpointing your purpose. And in the midst of that workshop, in the midst of that live experience, you will also be mapping out steps for how to move towards your purpose. So in this workshop or in this mini course, we were talking about figuring out what is your purpose. But you can know what your purpose is and still not be pursuing it. I know people who say my purpose in life is A, B, and C, but I got to do this. I got to do that first. They're not pursuing it. That's why I said purpose is different from path. Knowing what your purpose is doesn't mean you're pursuing it. You got to get on the path to pursuing it. You've got to remove some obstacles. You've got to bring some things into your focus so that you can get down the road towards creating that life. Because if you've been living outside of your purpose, you've got a lot of stuff right now that's distracting you. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's some relationships. Maybe it's some attitudes and beliefs. Whatever that is, you have to prepare so you can move down that path. And so during this pinpoint your purpose live event, we're going to be going deeper and helping you to outline steps of how to move from here. So below this training or in the email you got, you will see information for how to sign up. You can probably find it if you just go to my website, melaniehunter.com, but I like to get you directly to the right page because there's so many pages on my website. But melaniehunter.com, you should be able to go right there to my homepage. And if there's not a scheduled event coming up, you can get on the wait list, because that probably means we just had one and that one will be coming up scheduled soon. So sign up for the wait list for Pinpoint Your Purpose. The live event is going to be a 4 or 5 day challenge, depending on how I structure the next one. I hope to see you there. Be sure to take time. Go back through this training multiple times. This is the kind of work that you can't just breeze through it really quick. It takes a lot of deep thinking, a lot of honesty, might be some tears involved, some joy, some things that come up that you had forgotten about. And that's okay. Go through this training as many times as you need to. Print off a new workbook if you want to, and make sure you do the deep work, because again, knowledge that's not applied is worthless. And I want you to get the maximum income, the maximum outcome for your input. So again, I'm Coach MJ, and until the next time, I want you to be boldly, authentically you as you pursue your purpose. Take care.